Hi, welcome to Chard Review. The movie begins on an undisclosed island where a group of laborers working for a private company are seen doing excavations. It turns out that the island is being converted into an ecological theme park. However, their work is hindered when they uncover a series of giant fossils and skeletons, hinting at the island's hidden past. Frustrated with the delay in construction, the workers decide to set up powerful explosives into the nearby foundations. Shortly after, they detonate the explosives, sending a gust of wind and dust hurtling towards them. After everything settles, the workers are taken aback to find out that the explosion has revealed yet another giant fossil. They curiously proceed to inspect the find, when suddenly it starts to move and vanishes into the ground. This is when it dawns on the workers that the fossil is still alive as they try to make sense of the situation. An intense tremor occurs then. A huge python emerges from the ground, sending the workers fleeing in a state of panic. However, running away is not enough to avoid the wrath of the beast as it quickly lays waste to the entire area. Suddenly, the ground shakes for a second time and a huge dinosaur appears. The two creatures then engage in an epic duel, tearing up the island with their massive size and power. The end? Oh no, wait. Elsewhere, a young boy named Kai wakes up from a nightmare in the middle of the night. He then suddenly notices the presence of a ghastly figure standing beside him. Scared, Kim makes a run for it before tripping over and falling to the ground. The lights come on and it turns out his mother Xiao was trying to scare him. Here we get to know that Kai suffers from a leg injury and his mother trains him to gain more control over his legs. Despite his limitations, Kai is very eager to visit the ecological theme park, and one day his dream finally comes true when Xiao surprises him with 2 tickets for the theme park. The movie then cuts to the mysterious island where Xiao, Kai and other tourists travel on a tour bus exploring the forest. As they venture deeper, Kai is left in shock when he notices the giant python slithering up a mountain. He tries to tell his mother of his sighting, but she is not convinced and assumes that it was just his imagination. Shortly after, the bus driver Jiang notices 2 giant boulders approaching them from above and quickly maneuvers the bus to avoid getting hit. This leads to Jiang crashing the bus into a nearby tree, causing widespread panic. As everyone gets out, they learn that the bus is stuck in mud, so they have no choice but to push it out together. Meanwhile, Kai has to go to the toilet badly, so he and another passenger go further away from the group to find a place to pee. However, as they relieve themselves, the man is suddenly attacked by a massive tongue which pulls him into the woods. Meanwhile, 2 passengers, Professor Jia and his assistant Lei, observe the boulders and to deduce that a monster must have thrown it towards them. All of a sudden, some of the passengers are attacked, pulled into the forest, prompting the others to immediately rush inside the bus. Zhou somehow manages to close the door, but she then realizes that her son Kai is missing. Following this, the monster reveals itself to be a huge frog and leaps towards the bus. The passengers all stay low, terrified that they are about to be consumed, but just when the frog is about to attack, it sees Kai alone in the woods and goes after him. The little boy frantically starts running and somehow manages to dodge all of its attacks. He then hides inside a tree, track which the frog cannot enter because of its huge size. However, when the beast doesn't get what it wants, it pushes the trunk away, causing it to roll down a hill. Back in the bus, the humans experience an intense tremor, and it's revealed that the giant python has arrived. It wraps its body around the bus and hoists it up above the trees, causing the people inside to panic and fear for their lives. They desperately hold on to the seats to avoid falling to their death and see the face of the python about to demolish the entire bus. Everything looks like it was made with a computer. Luckily, the python hears another roar in the distance and abruptly lets go, causing the bus to free fall. The resulting crash knocks everyone unconscious. A while later, Shaw regains consciousness and finds that only a handful of people survived the brutal fall. Right then, the ground begins to shake again and the passengers take cover behind the bus. They stay quiet and patient as the sound of large stumps gets closer by the second. Eventually, a massive dinosaur. Pierce and the humans cower in fear. It appears as if everyone has met their doom, but to their luck, the beast isn't able to spot them, so it leaves without causing much trouble. In the meantime, she finally exits the tree trunk and finds himself inside a large cave. To his horror, he finds a giant piece of snake skin along with several eggs laid on the floor. Kai then hears loud footsteps nearing him and also spots a silhouette of a monster from the corner of his eye. He quickly hides behind the eggs and learns that the footsteps. It is currently munching on the unborn fetuses inside the eggs. Kai tries his best to maintain silence, but all of a sudden the alarm on his watch goes off, giving away his cover. Kai doesn't need a watch to know it's time to die. As a result, the raptor finds him and Kai makes a run for it. He eventually hides inside a broken eggshell while the monster continues to search for him, hiding inside of its food. Genius! Suddenly, the giant python appears inside the cave and pulls the raptor. Way before devouring it. In an instant, it then spots the little boy, but surprisingly doesn't take any action. Turns out the eggs are of the python and it has now mistaken Kai for one of its children. This is because his scent had changed after hiding inside of the eggs. While the python grieves the death of his unborn children, Kai escapes and exits the cave. Meanwhile, the remaining tourists are desperate and want to leave the island as soon as possible. A businessman and the director of the theme park, Chen, informs the others that a tower is located at the peak of the mountain, which they can use to send a signal for help. However, Shell is desperate to find her son. She begs the others for assistance, but no one wants to help her. Hence, with no options left, she leaves the group on her own to find Kai. To her surprise, the bus driver Zhang accompanies her at the last second and offers to help. Xiao is grateful, and she mentions that they can locate Kai via the GPS on his smartwatch. As the two continue talking, suddenly they hear some rustling in the bushes, which startles them. Fearing the worst, they get ready for the incoming danger, only to find out that it is actually the professor, Jia, and his assistant Lei. All four of them briefly celebrate their reunion before heading out to find the boy. The movie then cuts to a tired Kai hopelessly walking alone in the woods. To make matters worse, his leg is suddenly caught by a tree vine. It turns out that a giant carnivorous plant has captured him. The plant then viciously opens its mouth and spits out a sharp spike, which barely misses Kai's head. But just as the beast takes its second shot at Kai, the giant python swoops in and blocks the spikes simultaneously, killing the plant as well. Due to this, Kai is able to free himself and he is shocked to learn that the python has saved him from death. As the two stare at each other, the python slowly approaches the boy and signals for help to remove the spike impaled in its body. Kai immediately gets the hint, so he gets some tree vines and ties it on the spike, allowing the python to pull it out. After this, the giant snake leaves the place and heads deep into the forest. Elsewhere, the group makes it to the peak of the mountain, only to find out that the whole place is in ruins. To make the situation even more grim, a gigantic T-Rex appears in front of them. It attacks the humans without remorse, tiny arms or no, killing them brutally. On the other hand, Kai stumbles upon a dinosaur feasting on a giant frog. He slowly backs away, but accidentally steps on a twig, diverting the dinosaur's attention to him. However, before it attacks him, Kai is found and pulled to the side by his mother Zhao, and the two finally reunite. Their reunion doesn't last long though, as the dinosaur spots them and attacks them right away. It manages to knock Zhang Jia and lay down a hill before chasing Jiao and her son. The two eventually managed to get out of reach by leading the dinosaur through a small hole which he can't fit through. However, the mother-son duo are not free yet as they find out they have run into another dinosaur who immediately chases after them. Soon, Jiao and Kai find themselves surrounded by two hungry dinos, but even this time the heroic python appears out of the blue and knocks them aside, saving the humans from harm. they then try to escape the area. While the python defends them from any attacks, but unfortunately more dinosaurs show up and attack the python all at once. In the next scene, Shaw and Kai meet up with the others and slowly head towards the mountain. The 5 of them reach the peak and like the others, they are also devastated. After seeing the place as a barren wasteland, Jaw is shocked to see many python and T-Rex skeletons and assumes that the two have a history of fighting each other. Meanwhile, as Chi is looking around the place, he is suddenly held hostage by Chen, who is revealed to be his group's only survivor. It's evident that he has lost his mind as he holds the boy at knife point and blames everyone for what's happening to him. Shao begs him to let her son go, but they are interrupted by a terrifying roar. The giant T-Rex shows up once again and Shao uses the opportunity to save Kai. They then flee the scene while Chen is crushed by the T-Rex's feet. Following this, the group finds a car and Shang drives away from the chaos. The dinosaur hurls numerous boulders towards them, but Jiang is able to dodge every single one. Shortly after, the dinosaur leaps towards their vehicle, causing them to crash into a nearby rock, knocking them unconscious. They wake up shortly after and notice the dinosaur approaching them to finish them off. However, before it is able to touch them, you guessed it baby, the giant python comes to their rescue. A deadly battle ensues, and with every passing second, the T-Rex starts gaining the upper hand. Seeing the python losing, the humans quickly come up with a plan and decide to use the nearby explosives to help it out. Chao gathers the dynamite and places it inside the car. She then bids goodbye to her son before driving away towards the battlefield. Shao heroically drives near the T-Rex's legs and jumps out of the moving car, but to her misfortune, the detonator doesn't work. With their plan now foiled, the group is certain that they will be killed, but just then Lei notices that gasoline is leaking from the car, so she takes a torch and runs towards the fight, intending to blow the dynamite up unfortunately before she can get any closer. At this point, the T-Rex is almost managed to finish off the python, so the little boy decides to step up and save his friend. To everyone's shock, he sprints towards the monsters despite his injured leg. Then, with a good strong aim, he hurls the torch onto the car, causing the dynamite to go off. The explosion helps the python and it finally manages to kill the dinosaur. While Kai is blown back, Shaw and the others rush towards him and desperately all his name, but he doesn't wake up. Fortunately, the giant python has another ace up its sleeve. Pythons don't have sleeves. It comes near Kai and fiercely roars, causing him to wake up in haste. The movie then cuts to some time in the future where everyone is returned home and Kai's leg injury is finally healed elsewhere. Professor Jia and Delay explore the island for a second time and manage to find more dangerous monsters still lurking below the ground. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below, and if you like the video, please like and subscribe for more movie review. Thank you for watching.